Kevin, I asked you last year and I would love your opinion on the King George. Challenge accepted. Number 1 is Banbridge for Joseph O'Brien, a dual Grade 1 winner over fences between 2 miles and 2 miles 4. The big question is, will he stay the 3 miles? He'll definitely love the ground at Kempton. The sharper 3 miles at Kempton will also suit him. He's certainly got the class to run a big race here, and he is a big player. The one thing I should note here is that this King George 11 runners is one of the most open renewals in years. You know, you could pick out 7 or 8 horses that could win this race. I've backed a couple on the main line. Obviously, those are just for mainline members only. But I will put out a little short list here and kind of put down my short list 11 down to 3 or 4 runners. But yeah, a very, very open renewal. But that's Banbridge, number 1. Number 2 is the 2022 King George winner, Bravemansgame, Game, who's been steadily regressive. He does have the ability and back class to run a big race here. He was 3rd in the race last year. But overall, he's just got a little bit, one too many questions to answer at the moment. And yeah, you just have to say that it's quite a deep field. So he's definitely vulnerable. Number 3 is Corbett's Cross, a decent animal. He's not really one that I think has the absolute Grade 1 class to win a race like the King George. Could he sneak into the frame? Maybe, but it wouldn't be for me really. I couldn't have him on my mind for this. Envoi Allen bids to become the first 10-year-old to win the race since Desert Orchid in 1989. Whether or not he can do it depends on whether or not he can improve on his visit to Kempton back in 2022 when he went off at 4-1. His jumping fell apart that day. He did return in very good spirits at Down Royal, and the very fact that Henry de Bromhead has come back to Kempton again kind of screams that they do have a level of intent with Envoi Allen, and he's definitely one for the shortlist. Number 5 is a French horse, General on Chef. This horse has no chance whatsoever. Number 6 is Grey Dawning, one of the top UK novice chasers from last season, finished 2nd to Royal Pagaille in the Betfair Chase. You'd have to question whether that form in itself is good enough to win a King George, but he is a top class 7-year-old, a really nice young horse. He's very good on the speed figures. He's very, very consistent. He jumps very well. The ground probably isn't soft enough for him, but he's certainly on the short list of horses that, you know, you wouldn't fall off your chair if he won. Number 7 is Il Est Français, the great French hope who won the Cato Star Chase last year at Kempton so impressively. He's been a little bit of an enigma since then, pulled up when last seen. It's hard to know exactly what to expect from him, but for me, he is the elephant in the room. You know, if he's as good as they say he is and he turns out and runs like he did at Kempton last year, but with a little bit of improvement on top, he could just jump out and obliterate this field. But equally, would it surprise you if he was just pulled up? Who knows what to expect from this horse, but you have to kind of respect him because this has been his Gold Cup for the last 12 months. So I don't know what to expect from him, but he's a very, very interesting contender and certainly one for the shortlist. Number 8 is another French horse, Juntos Ganamos. Don't know anything about this horse, but I just had a brief look at his RPRs recently, and on the face of it, he's got no chance whatsoever. Number 9 runs for Venetia Williams, L'Homme Pressé, 167 rated 9-year-old. Doesn't have too many miles on the clock, this horse. Would definitely prefer slightly softer ground, but he has a very, very good record when fresh. He's a top-class 3-mile chaser on his day. And yeah, Venetia Williams' stable has been in excellent form, and I could certainly see L'Homme Pressé, you know, making a decent fist of this race if he handles the ground. Number 10 is Spillane Tower for Jimmy Mangan. Now, this horse finished 2nd to Fact to File last time out at Punchestown. He did improve before that when first stepped up to 3 miles. His form before that was just a little bit whatever, but he has improved. There's no doubt about that, and he's only a 6-year-old, so he is coming up through the ranks. He wouldn't really be for me, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he did win the race, but you know, his price is just a little bit too short for me now, and for that reason he'd be just off my short list, but at the same time I wouldn't be surprised if he won the race. So maximum respect for Spillane Tower. My dad fancies him, if that's any use to you, but he's just not for me right now, even though I do have respect for him. Finally is the Real Whacker. You know, a really likeable horse. Won the Charlie Hall last time out, beat Bravemansgame fair and square. I just think he just kind of is what he is. He's a 159 rated horse. He's capable of running up to RPRs into the 160s. I do think that to win a King George, you need to be able to run up to 170 and a little bit beyond it. And I think that's what it will take to win this race. And I think he'll just come a little bit short, but I could definitely see him running an honourable race. Just to cut it down to my kind of short list of 4 horses, I would have Ile Francais, Grey Dawning, Envoi Len, and L'Homme Pressé as my top 4 in terms of, each way value, because I think both of them are the top 2 I mentioned are 5-1, and then the other 2 are kind of double figure odds. But you've got the likes of Spillane Tower there, Banbridge as well, and you need to respect these horses. As I say, it's a very, very open race, but I've peeled the race of 11 down to 4. If you agree with my opinions, then maybe I might have confirmed your opinion. If not, then good luck whatever you're backing in the big race on Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day if you're Irish.